Mardi Gras Indians are composed of African American tribes that were outcasted from New Orleans society. Origins can be traced back to 1718 when African slaves were brought over to the States. However, they were excluded from other slaves due to cultural differences as well as the timing. The division between Mardi Gras Indians and traditional African Americans is racism and slavery due to discrimination, differences in cultures, and differences in preferences. Mardi Gras Indians are named after the original Native American tribes that lived on the land as a sign of respect for helping them overcome slavery as well as hiding out these slaves to protect them from their slave masters. African American Indians and Africans began to migrate, forming what we know today as the Mardi Gras Indians. There are two particular groups in Mardi Gras Indians called Uptown and Downtown Indians. Uptown Indian groups have more African roots and influences, using traditional stones and beads. The designs of Downtown Indians can be more graphic, representing current cultures and traditions. Each tribe has their own suit, which is composed of a crown, a dickey, and an apron. The crown is a headdress worn by the Indians, the head chief wearing a crown that can be up to 100 pounds. The dickey is the storytelling aspect of the suit, which is ranging from the upper chest to the waist, showcasing intricate designs, jewels, and other accessories and assortments. The final part, which is the apron, is worn from the waist to the ankles, showing off more intricate designs and storytelling from the dickey. Each year is a different suit, and a different story must be told each year to celebrate how far the Mardi Gras Indians have come since they were forced over into this country.
Okay, so when do Mardi Gras Indians wear their suits? The Mardi Gras Indians typically wear their suits around or during the Mardi Gras season, but their parade dates, the times, and stuff that you need to know where the parade's at, they're usually never published in advance. But if you're not a newcomer to New Orleans and to Mardi Gras, then you usually know that they do tend to gather in the same areas each year. And if you aren't able to see the Mardi Gras Indians on Fat Tuesday, you can find them at the second largest gathering of the year, which is called Super Sunday, which is on the third Sunday in March. And Super Sunday is basically when members from both downtown and uptown New Orleans come together to celebrate the culmination of the carnival season. And it basically deals with the Mardi Gras Indians or tribes, and they just dance and gather around and parade all across New Orleans.
Mardi Gras suits and costumes that Mardi Gras Indians wear on Mardi Gras parades is the most thing that pops out. Like, it shows the fun and the color in Mardi Gras. The reason they wear these costumes and these suits is to honor the Italians. The fact that actually makes sense is that they wear these costumes to express themselves in a way to use it as a way to express themselves in ways their local normal lives. Like, they actually basically run away from their normal lives. They become themselves and don't have to change for anyone, and nobody knows who they are under those suits. These suits are associated with Shrove Tuesday celebration, which is also called Fat Tuesday, and they wear these costumes to connect with the ancestors long ago and into the spirit world, to act of vital to their heritage and culture. Most Indians feel that wearing of a suit is a way of invoking an alternative experience of power. So basically, that means when they put these suits on, they know they have the power to themselves, for themselves. Nobody can hurt them because nobody really knows who they are. As we all know, different religions have different kinds of clothing, and clothing important to them. And for these Mardi Gras Indians, the suits are important because most of them were the Native Americans were superstitious by nature, and they believed that it was their duty to please their gods. So they were religious, and they thought their clothes was a way of pleasing their god. So the clothing had to do with the religion. So in some tribes, dresses like regalia, which is a kind of outfit, were restricted only for priests and for common man. Even touching it was forbidden. So basically, these costumes showed that these people were religious and cared. For example, if they were wearing it on Fat Tuesday, they cared for Fat Tuesday, and they were really they loved their religion. They bring out these costumes, as I said, bring out the real meaning of Mardi Gras, the colorful and the fun part of it. Basically, without the suits and costumes, the Indians would not escape the real world or be themselves on Mardi Gras Day. These costumes bring out the real truth in people, and make sure people have fun.
The experience of the Mardi Gras Indians and their social historical contribution to the city's cultural identity pays homage to the local indigenous Native Americans who sheltered their fugitive ancestors during the transatlantic slave trade in the 1800s. But why do the Mardi Gras Indians participate in rivalry fights of needle and thread with other tribes? Succeeded by percussionists and revelers, Mardi Gras Indian groups are not a monoculture. They cover about 38 different tribes. Every Indian sews a new suit, demonstrating the creative ability to sew feathers and beads in unique patterns and distinctive color schemes. In a way, expresses the individuality of the chief and his tribe. On Mardi Gras morning, gangs of chiefs, spy boys, flag boys, and wild men debut their new costumes, a year-long labor sewing, stitching, and beading, to walk through New Orleans chanting, dancing, and facing off with one another in fierce competition. The big chief, supported by second chiefs, queens, and princesses, is the tribal leader, who decides where to go and which tribes to meet. The spy boy is dressed in light running suits and marches several blocks in front of the chiefs and queens. His job places him ahead of the big chief's procession as he seeks out other tribes. Next comes the flag boy or first flag, who's ornately dressed and carries a token tribe flag to notify the chief of any directions relayed by the flag boy. Historically, these clashes, called humbugs, dissipated greatly between rival tribes from the uptown and downtown districts during the latter half of the 20th century, partly because of increasing pressure by local police. Thus, Mardi Gras was a day of both reveling and bloodhood. The very concept of masculinity and fearlessness for the Mardi Gras Indians is deeply tied to the sartorial prowess. Today, the competitive nature of Indian showdowns has been restricted away from violent confrontation and toward face-off ritual dances and chants that demonstrate their power and demand respect. The chiefs and tribal members have moved toward competing with their costumes, basing their fights over the prettiness of their suits. The Mardi Gras Indian Parade has become a celebrated point of pride for the city, embodying what New Orleans is all about: culture, talent, music, and art.